Hello there. Welcome to today's session. Today I'll be taking you through Tizisha platform. Tizisha is a learning and development platform and it's tailored for the African market. The word Tizisha was derived from a slang word called Tizi. So what Tizi means is train or exercise. So that's how Tizisha was born. Today I'll be taking you through the creator and the learner journeys. We'll start first by going through the learner journeys, then we'll transition to the creator so that we see how this content was brought to life, the one that the learner will be consuming. So we'll start by going through the learning experience. So hopefully today will be a very good session, and by the end of this demo or full overview, you should be in a position, you should be in a position to go through the whole journey end to end. Okay, so let's get started. So what you see now is the app logging interface. For new users, once they're onboarded, they'll just hit on sign up, and they can sign up from here. So what they're gonna do is add their full name. Then they can choose to either sign up via email or phone number, not both, but email or phone number. If they go with the phone number option, they'll have to verify their phone number. So what will happen is they'll get a verification code sent to them on WhatsApp, and they'll be able to set that up. For email as well, they'll get a verification code shared to them via email, and they should be in a position to now log in. So for this case, I'll just proceed to log in to an account here. Okay, great. Seems you're logged in. So this is the UI of the learners. So this is the first page they will see once they're logged in. They will be able to see my organizations. So if they are onboarded on different organizations, all those organizations will be populated this very top section up here. So if they belong to 5, 6, or 7 organizations, they should be able to see all those organizations populated up here. Then we have modules down here. So modules are basically like a bucket where you can group multiple courses inside. So let's say you have courses that are sales related, right? So you can have the module called sales, and all courses that are sales related should be added under that specific module. We also have training next to it. So again, similarly to the sales, if you have courses that are related to training, you can create a module called training and have multiple courses in there just to help you group in your things well, and make things easily accessible to learners. So once a learner comes here, so if you look at sales, you can see it has 3 courses on it. So this just helps it just makes the experience for learners easy so that they can be able to navigate through these different modules. Okay, so that's the modules. Then we have now the courses. So on the courses, you can see we have these course cards. On the course cards, what you're able to see is you're able to see the thumbnail for the course, you're able to see the course name, you're able to see the number of lessons in the specific course, whether it has quizzes or not, you're able to see that, and if it has been configured to offer certificates upon completion, you should be able to see that on the course cards. And you're able also to track completion on the course card. So for most of this, you can see they read 0%. So that basically means the learner is yet to start. So if you as the learner, you've not started any courses, they should be 0%. Yeah, that should be the completion. So as you continue doing the courses, you'll notice the completion will keep changing based on how far you've come. All right. So today I want us to go through one of the lessons, or rather the course, so that you get to see the full journey for learners. I'll pick one here that has actually a quiz and has been configured to offer certificates upon completion, right? So we'll go with virtual training from basics to excellence. So I'm gonna click on view course. So once you're here, you just click on view course. Yeah, and so you get to see all your lessons here. So you can see some lessons have been locked. So this is something that is done on the creator side of the journey where they can be able to enforce enforce blocking of progressive lessons until learners are completed with the lessons they are working on, right? So for this case, the copy of tools, or rather this second lesson, will only be opened once the first one is 100% complete, and so on and so forth. So the same applies to the third one, right? So you can't access the second and third until you're 100% complete with the first, right? So we're gonna get started with the first one. I'll click on that, and you can use these arrows to navigate to the next lessons. Let me just switch over to the mobile version so that you see how it look like on mobile. So this is just basically how it will look like on mobile, right? So it will be like this. You can choose to use the arrows, or you can just swipe to the next slides. So let me now switch back to desktop. I just wanted you to see how this will look like on mobile. It is very intuitive and very appealing to the eye. So I'll navigate back to desktop, and I'll quickly go through all this. So once I get to the very last slide for this lesson, I get 3 buttons. So we have restart lesson, we have take quiz, and we have mark as complete. For every lesson that has a quiz, always make sure to take the quiz, because the quiz also takes part in marking whether you're fully complete with a specific lesson. So if you skip the quiz, you won't get 100% completion, and so on. So you always have to take quizzes. But for the event that a lesson doesn't have a quiz, all you'll have to do is click on mark as complete. That's also very important. Helps the status for the completion to be 100%, and only then you can be able to proceed to the other lessons if they've been enforced for mandatory completion, and so on. Okay, so for this case, I'll click on take quiz. Then here are the quizzes. So I'll quickly go through this so you can see there are multiple choice questions. So I'll quickly navigate through all this. Okay. Then you can have that. So on first attempt, you'll notice that we failed. We got 60%. If you look at the very top here, we have a minimum requirement, which is 80%. So we have to meet that for this also to be registered as 100% complete. So always make sure you've passed, because only then will you be able to get certificates. So we allow learners to retry upon if they fail for the first attempt, and the creator can track the number of times you as the learner has been able to take on these attempts. So for this case, since we failed on the first try, we're going to retry. Then I'll quickly go through all this. We have that. Okay, so you can see on the second attempt we passed with 100%. So that means we're done with this particular lesson. So this will be marked as 100% complete, and you'll notice now the next lesson will be unlocked for us. So if I click on next lesson, you can see now we are able to access the locked lesson that was locked initially, right? So I'll navigate again quickly through all this. And once I get to the very last one, this one now doesn't have a quiz. So in the event that a lesson doesn't have a quiz, always make sure to click on mark as complete. So I'll click on mark as complete here. And now after the second lesson, you see the third one now has been unlocked. So this is a live lesson that was recorded. I'll just take you through all this once we switch over to the creator. Again, I'll mark as complete. And you can see the status here changes to 100%. You'll also notice that this icon for the certificate has appeared only after we've finished the whole course. Like the course completion here reads 100%. Only then is when now we get to download our certificates, right? So this is the lessons tab. Then we have the quizzes tab. You can navigate to the quizzes tab, and you can see we got 100% for this, and the status here reads passed. So, and you can also have an option to view quiz from here. Okay, cool. So what follows next once we're done with everything? Of course, if the lesson has a certificate, we'll want to download the certificate or get access to the certificate. So I'm gonna click on this. And you can see here goes the certificate. So under achievements is where all the lessons you've completed, or rather all the courses you've completed that have been configured to offer certificates upon completion will show up. So for this case, you can add it to LinkedIn, so you get this step-by-step process on how you should be able to go about that. So for this case, let's download this and see how it looks like, right? So if I download this, so here we go. So this is how now the lesson, the certificate will look like. So at the very top here, which will be the majority part of this certificate will be covered up by the organization logo here. So we have the organization that's issuing this certificate, the logo will appear there. Then the name of you, the learner who's getting this certificate. Then we have the course name here. Then we do have the course description, and this is the sign of signature. You can upload anything. So for this case, we have a scanned QR code image, but you can have a signature, an actual signature here. Then down here, we get to see the name of the issuer, or who is issuing this certificate. So for this case, it was Alan, and what's their title in the organization. So you can edit that as the creator now. So you as the learner, you don't have control over that. So this is only what you see as the learner. So you get to see that as the learner. So this is basically how the certificate will look like once you download it. And you can, if you want to have a physical copy of this, of course, you can print and everything, and so on. So you can download this. So if you click on this, you should be able to download and everything. Okay. Okay. Or by you can just download it by just clicking on this button right here. Okay. Okay. So we're good in that regard. We're gonna go back to explore, and so you can see now we've been able to 100% complete this course, right? The status has now changed from 0 to 100%. We've completed this, and we've also been able to download the certificate. So that's how basically the learner goes through the entire journey. So one more thing I would like to also show you is how a learner can, start a conversation inside the lesson slide. So the whole architecture of this looks like this. So we have the course. Inside the course, we have the lesson. Then inside the lesson, we have the lesson slides. And you as the learner, the lesson slides are what you interact with, or that's where the material is. So inside these lesson slides, you can start a conversation for each lesson slide. Let me just show you what that looks like. So if I click on view course here, and I'll click on restart lesson on one of the lessons you just completed. And on this lesson slide, you get to see we have this message icon on the top right of your screen. So just click on this, and you can now start a conversation, right? Like just how you do on WhatsApp, type and send that over, right? So maybe for this one, you can say, I love this content, or I like this content, right? Then once you're done, click on post, and now that will be sent over. So any learner who has access to this course, or any editor who's within this organization, will be in a position to see your message, and they can reply to this, and you can have a whole conversation going on inside the lesson slide. So that's just one lesson slide, right? So if I navigate back and go to the other lesson slide, I can start now a different conversation on this new lesson slide, right? So maybe if I click on this, I can say maybe this was too long, and click post. Yeah, and now you can proceed. If you have comments on other lesson slides, you can proceed with that kind of format. I believe you get the flow of how that works. So they'll be able to get a notification as moderators or as editors or other learners who have access to this particular course. Okay, so now let's navigate back. Right. So another thing you can do is you can save a course, right? Let's say your UI, you belong to so many organizations. These organizations have so many courses, and you have a priority list of the courses you want to complete first, right? So what you can do is you can save those courses that you put them under, like they are on your top priority to first finish them. You can save them and have them on a special tab so that you can navigate to them quicker next time you log into the app, right? So on the right hand side of my screen, you can see we have this save option here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna click on this, and you can see added to my courses. So where now do we find my courses? My courses, you'll just click on this hamburger icon here on the left side of your screen here. I believe you can see my cursor there. Click on my courses. Then you can see now this particular course we've just completed has been saved here. So if you have undone courses that you want to navigate through quicker next time you log into the app, you can just save them, and once you come to that section you can have access to them quite easily, right? Yeah, so that's basically how you save that. I'll go back to explore, then we're gonna go back to this. Yeah, so yeah, you can see now that's how you go about saving that. So if you want to remove it again, just click on remove, and it's gonna be removed from the my courses section of the app. Okay, cool. Now you remember we started a conversation inside the lesson slides, right? So where do other learners get notified that you've actually started a conversation? So if you look at this top right side of your screen, we have this bell notification. You'll get a notification on email as well that someone has commented on something. But if you're on the app, you can see we have this bell notification, and it has a green status here. What this means is that you have some unread messages that you have to attend to, or you might want to attend to, right? So if I click on this, I get to see the conversation which was pushed. And you can have a long list of the conversations here. So they are arranged from the most recent to the oldest one. So the most recent conversation will be at the very top, and the oldest conversation will obviously just go down the list, right? So for this chat, we only had one person post a chat. So let's click on this. Yeah, and you can see this learner called Alan had pushed a message on this lesson slide, and you can see it's highlighted in green so that you see what specific lesson what specific discussion or chat you're looking at. So maybe we can reply to them. Maybe we can say, I also liked these courses, right? And we post that. So what this user called Alan is gonna see on their bell notification, they'll get that green bar up there, then they should be able to now view your reply, and they can keep the conversations going and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's how you're able to start conversation or discussions inside lesson slides, and that's how you're able to track through the notification, the bell notification, how conversations are going. Okay, so let's go back. So on this tab, you have different sections. We have explore, so this is the main page. Then you have my courses. Again, this is where all your saved courses will appear. Then you have my organization. So if you belong to multiple organizations here, they'll be listed here. So for this case, I only belong to this organization. But if you belong to like 5-10 organizations, you should be able to see all them from here. Similarly, you'll also see those organizations here at this very top in this format. So you get to see the name of the organization and the organization logo at the very top here. I'll just log into an account that belongs to many organizations so that you see how that looks like as well. We have achievements. So under achievements, you get to see all courses you've completed and have been configured to offer certificates. So all certificates you've achieved will appear in this section of the app. Okay. Right, then obviously we have the profile section where you get to see your login details and then the logout, right? Yeah, so that's basically the journey for learners. Very easy, very intuitive to use. So I said I'm gonna show you an account that belongs to different organizations so that you see also how that looks like. So if I navigate to this, let's see. Yeah, so this is an example. So all organizations that this learner belongs to are highlighted at the very top section here, right? So they also belong to J Fitness that we were looking at. So if I click that, I'm able to see all that. So if I go to my organizations on this sidebar, I should be able to also see okay, let's log in into that account. It's this one. Yeah, so this is the account, right? So you might come across such an error. So this you should not panic. So this is basically an error that tells you so and so organization has not like made a payment for the license. So you're kind of restricted in getting access to their course content. So until they make a payment to their license is when now you'll get access to this. So okay, for this case, let's switch over to J Fitness now. Just clarifying about that error. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was going to my organization section here. Yeah, so this is where you get to see all the organizations that you belong to will be highlighted in this section of the app. Okay, great. So yeah, that's now the journey for learners on Tizisha. So it's very simple to use, very intuitive, and yeah, so that's how you go about it. So now we're going to transition to the creator platform, so that you get to see how all these courses came into life, right? And how all these modules were set up and everything, right? So we're going to switch to now the creator. So first of all, allow me to log out from this. Let's start on the landing page. So this is the landing page of the platform. So as a new user, you'll click on start free trial, and which I'll just show you in a moment. You'll be required to select a plan that you want to start with. So the plan rates are here. So if you want to see the value proposition for the plan, so you get to know what starter has, what growth has, what pro has, and everything is on the landing page of the website. So I'll click on start free trial, and you'll notice that you'll be required to add your plan, select your plan. So as I mentioned earlier, if you want to know what you get on starter that's different on growth, that's all highlighted on the landing page. So you'll have to select a plan upon sign up, then obviously add your first name, last name, organization, email, password, then boom, you're in. So for this case, I'm gonna log in. Yeah, okay, so let's log in now and see. Okay, so now this is now the creator UI. So this is what you're gonna see. Immediately you land here, you'll be able to see all the courses you've created. Of course, if you're a new user, this section will be blank, where you can see we have different course cards of different courses I've created. So if you're a new user, that will be blank. But now this, once you've created some courses, this is how they look like. So on the course cards, again, quite similar to what we had seen on the learner app. You get to see the thumbnail, the course name, the course description, and the status is here. So live and draft. So basically what this means is drafts are unpublished courses that learners don't have access to. So if this is a draft, learners won't see this on the learner app, right? But if it's published to live like this one, this can now be accessible to the learners on the app. So on the sidebar here, we have the different features that we have on the platform. So we have courses, modules, quizzes, metrics, groups, discussions, learners, editor settings. We have the organization profile where you can do editing of the organization logo and such kind of stuff. We have SSO, single sign-on. We have webhook, billing. Yeah. And of course, we have this section where you can switch organizations if you are an organization owner in different organizations or an editor in different organizations. So first things first, we can start with creating a new course. So we have two ways where which you can do that. So you can either create a new course entirely from scratch, or you can use you can create a new course from library. So we have some templates there that from the library that can help you to now find a structure of how you can go about adding your courses if you're completely new and you just want to see how that looks like. So we'll start with now this option for new course. So if I click on new course, I'll be prompted to add a course name and a course description, right? So I'd prepared something earlier here. So what I'm gonna do is just a copy and paste. So this is our course name here. So I'm gonna copy that and I'll paste that here. Then the course description again, I'm gonna copy this and paste that here. Okay, you can notice that all the text is not clear enough. Some has been hidden. So if you want to have a clear view, just drag this over like this so that you have a clear view of everything that's going on inside here, right? Okay, so once you've done the course name, course description, click on create course, and now you'll be redirected to the lesson slides where you get to now update your content that your learners will be interacting with. So as I mentioned earlier, the architecture of this is a course has lessons, and inside the lessons we have lesson slides. So these lesson slides are the interactive bit of what the learners will be consuming, right? So what the platform does, once you create a course and the course description, it automatically creates a lesson called lesson 1. So before we even start creating the lesson slides, I'd want us to navigate back to the lessons and give our lesson an actual name, since we have an actual name for the course. So I'll just click on lessons here, and you can see our lesson name here is lesson 1, and description is lesson 1 description. Of course, this is not our actual name for the lesson, right? So we'll want to edit this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna click on this, and now this is the section to do that bit of editing for the lesson name and lesson description. So as I hover around my mouse or my cursor here, you get to see we have this pencil icon. So I'm gonna just click on this and do away with this lesson 1 name. I'll navigate to this set of material I'd created earlier. I'll copy this, then I'll paste that here. Once you're done, click on this tick here to just kind of save that. Okay, that's saved. Then now for the lesson description, we'll click on this again and we'll delete this and have an actual description to our lesson. So I'm just gonna copy this and I'll paste that here. Then you can always expand this and have a clear view if everything doesn't fit. Click on that tick and everything is set now. So now we have an actual course, an actual lesson name. Now let's go and now proceed to now building the interactive part of this, which is now having the lesson slides, right? So I'll just click on lesson slides here. Okay, so this is where you create the lesson slides, as I mentioned, and we have different block components, as you can see on my right. So the platform supports text, images, video, audio, PDF, polls, and text input. All these are supported. You can have all these block components in one single slide. So let's say, and you can see some instructions here just to guide you on how you're supposed to go about this. So it's just a drag and drop kind of feature. So let's say for our first lesson slide, we want to have some text and maybe an image, right? So if I click on the text, you can see we have this section where we have bold, italic, underline, and so on. So this will be our working space. And everything we do on this this section that's just next to the sidebar will be just automatically populated on this middle section of the platform. So for this one, again, I'll just copy some material we had here earlier. So I'll just copy this. I'll paste that here. So you can see it also populates on this middle section, right? Then for you to now upload your image, you'll have to click on the block component first. So you'll click on this And you'll notice there are some images that I'm already having here. So what the platform does, once you've used any media files, could be videos, could be images, once you've used them once, the platform just automatically saves them for you in case you ever need to use them while creating future courses or other courses. So you don't have to keep re-uploading the same content, the same material over and over again. So let's say I need to reuse this image in a different course, I don't have to keep re-uploading, it's already here for me. Okay, that goes the same with videos and these images. So any media file is just for you. That's the same with audio and so on. Yeah. Okay, but for your case, since maybe if you're a new user, all you'll have to do is just click on upload image here, where we have max size 10 MB and so on. So if I click on this again, you get to see I'm redirected to my device where I should be able to now select the the image, right? So for this case, I won't upload a new one. I'll just use this one. Again, this is just for demonstration. Yeah, I know the image isn't in line with the course we're creating. This is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so once you've done that, as I mentioned, you can have all these block components in this one slide, but I want us to make this a bit neater. So I'll add these other block components in other lesson slides, right? So we have a slide background here, and you can add a bit of aesthetics to this. So let's say you want to have we can have this color. Yeah, that looks nice. You can just play around with this slide background colors. If you have a color theme for your courses or your lessons, well and good, you can just add those here. And if you wish to maybe change the order of how these appear. So let's say you added this text input at the very top, then the image at the bottom, but for some reason now you want the image to come at the top, then the text input to come at the bottom. So all you have to do is just come to this side outline section at the bottom right of your screen and click on the image maybe and just drag it over to the top, and you can see the order changes now, right? So yeah, that's how you go about this. So if you have like 5 block components in this slide, so and you need to reorganize, it's just that simple. Just click and just play around with them just for them to meet how you want them to look. For this one, let's just put the text at the top. Looks a bit neater this way. Okay, great. Now let's add another lesson slide. So for this one, let's maybe have more text, and maybe this time let's use a video, right? For text, again, I'll just copy and paste the text we initially had. Yeah, we have the features here, so if you want them to be bulleted, numbered, of course you can just do that from this section. You can change whether you want them to be headings, normal text, and so on. Then the video, we're gonna click on this block component, and you'll notice some videos already populating here. So these are videos I've already used before creating content, so they are automatically just saved for me, and I don't have to keep re-uploading. I can reuse them with ease. Some of these are actually from a live lesson, which is another very interesting feature I'm going to take you through. So you can start a live lesson and save that. So also live recorded live sessions are also appear here because they are videos, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's use this one. Then for color, we can have that, and maybe we can add one more text block component. Let's add something here as well. Okay, so we can have this. Yeah, we can have that. Yeah, so again, you can always, again, as I mentioned earlier, you can reorder these and play around with them and so on. Okay, so let's just have the video at the middle. Yeah, that's okay. So if I click on this, maybe add some color. Okay, that looks okay. Let's now add the next slide. So to add a new slide, you just click on new blank slide here, just where my cursor is. Then now we're gonna, for this one, let's do a poll and text input. So now to edit the poll, you have to click on this block component here, and now you can now start working on the poll. So poll, obviously these are options that people can choose from, right? So this, let's just say what's your favorite color? Can have that. We can have blue, red, and maybe orange. Okay, so this is what your learners will see on the end, and they can select one of these, right? Again, this is just dummy. You'll tailor this to according to the courses you're creating. It will be a totally different question. Of course, you're not going to ask about the color. Now let's do the input. So this is where now people can now type in stuff. So you can ask a question and people can type in responses, right? So we can have here, let's maybe ask them, what do you think of my courses, or think of my lessons? Maybe you can ask that to your learners, or anything else. It could be course related to what you're adding to them. So this is a placeholder, so you can see the placeholder is here, so we can just have the same text on the placeholder. Then you can limit the maximum characters allowed. So if you don't want to read through some very long responses, maybe you want to limit that to maybe 100 characters, so they can do 0 to 100. So you can set that from this section. Okay, yeah, so you can limit the size of the input they're gonna add for these polls, for this text input. Then we have a toggle here. So this, if you put this on, basically what this does, it just hides this text input from the learners, but you can see it from your end, and you can see the feedback from the feedback section, which is another part of the journey I'm going to take you through. You can be able to see that still, but this will be hidden from the learners. Let's say now you had put up this text input, and now you already got the feedback you needed, right? And you no longer want people to keep adding answers to this or responses to this. Now you can just toggle that on, and it will be just hidden from them. But you can track the responses that were initially added from the creator platform. Okay, great. So that's how you go about populating the different block components. There's one, the slides, the PDF, which we've not added. So the best way to do that is click on new slides from PDF. So what this does, let's say you have a PDF document that has, let's say, 50 pages, right? And obviously it's so tiring to scroll over a very long PDF document, right? If it's 100 pages, of course you're gonna scroll for so long and it will be overwhelming, right? So what this does, let's say the PDF has 100 pages, so it just divides them into different slides with different pages. Let's say we have now 3 slides, slide 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna do slide 4, 5, 6, 7 until it gets to the 100 slides you're adding. So let me just show you how that looks like. So I'm gonna upload a PDF here. So let's have this one. Create PDF. So I'll upload that, and you're gonna see from slide 4 it will just divide it into different slides. So this just makes it easier for your learners to interact with them. All they have to do is just scroll through. If they're using their phones, just scroll through. If they're using a laptop, they'll just click on those arrow navigation keys at the bottom of the screen, and they should be able to navigate to the next slides. So if you look at slide 4, our PDF starts from slide 4, then we have 5, then 6, then 7, and so on and so forth, right? So one thing about this PDF slides, these are fully customizable. Like for instance, let's say we don't like the content that's in this slide 7 that we are currently on, right? and we want to customize it fully to our liking. So what we can do, we can delete this. So if as I hover around my cursor here, you get to see we have this trash icon here, or this bin icon. So if I click on this, you can see that content on slide 7 has been deleted. Now we can have our custom customized page or slide. So let's maybe have a text and an image. I'll just copy this for the image again. Presentation, I'll just have that and maybe add some background color there and so on. Okay, yeah, so yeah, again, this is just to explain how you can fully customize this stuff. Yeah, so you have full control over this PDF slides, so you can fully edit them. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's how you go about creating courses. It's so simple, just dragging over block components, updating your stuff. If you have slides, Google Sheet slides or anything, or PDFs, all you have to do is just upload them. The platform will do the rest for you. So if you have documents in other formats, just first convert them to PDF, then upload them. Then everything will be good to go. Okay, once you're done, always make sure to publish. If in case you want your learners to have access to this material, always remember to publish your work. But if you want them to remain as drafts, okay, you can leave this as is, but for this case we'll click publish and we'll get a prompt. Would you like to publish this course as well? Of course we'll want to publish both the course and the lesson so that the learners can see both. So we're gonna say yes, and you can see now it reads unpublished, so it means it's published. We can now let's navigate back here. Okay, so you can now see the status here is live from initially how it was like a draft, so the status has now changed to live. And you can also duplicate this. So let's say you want to create another lesson, but the content in lesson 1 and 2 quite similar but has a few differences here and there. So you can duplicate this first. It will read copy of so and so. So you can have this. Again, you can edit this if you don't want it to have copy of so and so. You want to rename this, you can rename it. For this case, we'll just leave it at that. And you can always duplicate it in a different course, right? So you can so for this case, let's first duplicate in this course that we are working on. So again, here it is. We're gonna publish, and then if we navigate back, so we should be able to see now the two courses are now live, right? Okay, and if you wish to publish it in a different course, you can do that. So let's say, for instance, now for this one, we've published in this same course. So if you want to edit the copy, you can just click on this copy and now edit the lesson slides if you need to do that, right? Let's now try and duplicate in a different course. So let's say maybe here we click duplicate, and what the platform will do, it will now redirect us to that specific course we've selected, right? And all we'll have to do is maybe make edits if need be, and publish. So we're gonna publish this. Again, it will ask us if we want to publish the course as well. We're gonna say yes. All right. Okay, so that looks okay. So let's just navigate back. To navigate back and forth, you're just gonna use this top section here. Okay. Let's click on this one. You're just creating. Now let's add a thumbnail so that our learners can actually see an image for the course we're creating. I'm gonna have this, so we can have that. So let that load up. Yeah, so you can see we now have a thumbnail. So these are the thumbnails I was showing you earlier on the as we were going through the learner journey. So they get to see that the course name and description, right? Okay, so that's set. The other thing, we do have course settings. So I want to show you. You remember how we had progressive lessons blocked? So this is the section where you do the blocking. So if you click on course settings, under this section is where you enforce completion of mandatory lessons. So if I click on this lesson we call setting clear learning objectives will be the only one accessible. The second one will only be accessible once the first one is 100% complete. Yeah, and if we had a third lesson, that will still be the flow, right? So let's do that configuration and hit save. Yeah, so that will be the case for this. Another thing, this is where you also configure your courses to offer certificates upon completion if you wish so what you do is click on issue a certificate upon completion. I'll click on this checkbox, then get these sections where I can fully customize how I want my certificate to look like. So what you can do, you have control over the organization logo here. You have full control over the signature. The organization logo is, you already updated that when setting up the account. So this is the signature. I'll just upload something. Let's see. So I can have this is not an actual signature, but we can just have that for now. But if you have an actual signature, you can just upload that there. Then name of issuer, we can have John Doe. Then their position, maybe let's say customer success or something. Yeah, so once you're done, so they will have now the signature on that certificate. Then we'll have the name of the issuer, and of course you're going to have the position or title of the issuer. So once you're done adding all this, click on save certificate settings, and all that has been set up now. So your course has certificates, and you've enabled it to enforce completion of mandatory lessons. Great. So that looks fine. Okay, and okay, obviously you can share the course here. Let me just touch on this. You can copy this link and maybe share it to a third party, and they can have access to this course. You can have a QR code, or maybe if you want to share this on WhatsApp status or something, you can just click on this and you can share that link on WhatsApp directly to a contact or on WhatsApp status. If you wish, maybe you want to have this on a billboard or something to advertise your course, you can have this QR code somewhere and people can just scan this and they'll have access to this. So you'll just have to download the QR code. Then we have this configure option. Let me just explain what this toggle does down here. So if this is on and I save the configuration and I share the link with someone, so what happens is they'll be fully onboarded on the platform. What do I mean by this? I mean that they'll have access to all courses, not only this course you're sharing the link to, but they'll sign up and have access to all other courses that you've created. But if this is off though, they'll only have access to this course called Designing Effective Courses, right? So yeah, that's the whole point of this toggle. So if you wish to do all that, that's what you can do it. Okay. I mentioned something to do with live lessons, a very interesting feature. So let me show you how you can start a live lesson. So live lessons are like in-person. It's just like having an in-person class. It's just that it's virtual. So you can interact with your learners and they can talk, share feedback and everything. So I'll just click on live lesson here. So what will happen once you click on this, you'll be requested to give Tizisha permissions to have access to your video and audio. For this case, it's not asked me because I had already given it access already. So you'll get maybe a pop-up. If you're using Chrome or any other browser, you'll get a pop-up there that just tells you you need to give Tizisha permissions for the necessary controls to work. In this case, which is the mic and the video, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a live lesson, but before we do that, let me just mute this. You can invite people to this live lesson. So at the top here we have this invite option, and you can copy this link and share it with someone who you want to hop on this live lesson, right? So you can share this again with that's been integrated with WhatsApp, so you can just share it directly to WhatsApp, or just copy the link and share it across any other social media platform, Instagram, and so on. Yeah. Then if it's a QR code, you can download the QR code. If you need people to scan the QR code, this is where you get to do all that. Okay, so that's how you basically invite people who are not learners on your platform, or who don't have access per se to this specific course. Okay, great. So you remember when you were creating courses, there was some live lessons that were appearing under videos. So those will appear and will be saved once you start recording the session, right? So for this one, I'll click on start recording, then I'll start live lesson. Okay, cool. So what happens is, you see we have two additional controls. So we have this one, which is for sharing your screen. You can share your screen. Then we have the red one, which is the exit button. So if you're done doing the class and you wish to close the class, you can just click on the on that red button and you should end the call. So we started recording, right? So you can see the status here is recording, and we have live here. So just to tell you that, oh, this is actually being recorded, and it asks the learner for consent whether they want to still remain in this live lesson if it's being recorded. So let me just show you how learners are able to see that. So what I'm gonna do is, we just created this course. Let's see what we called it. So what I can do here is, I'm gonna refresh this learner page so that that course comes up. So let's refresh this. That's the error. So we are gonna switch over to an account that actually is showing that. So here is it. Here it is rather. The most recent course we just created. So if I click on view course, so this is how now the learner will be able to join the live lesson. So they'll click on view course. Then at the very top here, you see this red status that says join a live lesson. So they're gonna click on this, and now again they'll also have to allow the necessary permissions. So allow Tizisha to have access to video, microphone, and so on. So you're gonna do that from here. Then join. So let me just close those for now. Then I can say join. Again, this is the consent I was telling you. So they get to choose. So if they're not comfortable being recorded, being in a recorded session, they can choose to leave or choose to stay. So we're gonna stay. Yeah, so can have that, can have the camera on and so on. So it's also telling me, oh, recorded. And now the editor is labeled as a host. You can see, so you're able to distinguish who is facilitating this live lesson and so on. If we have multiple editors on this call, so the one presenting or the one facilitating will be labeled as host, then the others will be labeled as co-hosts, right? Yeah. Okay. So can navigate back here, right? So let me just share screen so that you get to see how that experience looks like when you're sharing screen. So I'll just share something here. Maybe you can have these courses we were creating here. So if I share that, you get to see here now the learner is able to see now the shared screen, and now this is the host screen, then this is the learner labeled as you, and now we have the editor. Their camera is still on, right? So you can see the editor as well as they're presenting. Okay, so that's basically how this goes by, and how the live lesson feature works. Okay, so now we can navigate back here. Yeah, so once you're done and everything is done, the session is you're done with the session, just come and end it from here. So first you can stop sharing, then of course we can end the class here. So recording is in progress. Okay, if you wish to If you choose not, it will automatically stop once every person leaves the session, so you can say yes. Yeah, and you can rejoin. So we'll just these other learners you can see now it shows now the creator has now left, so we can also leave. So we can just click on that, and yeah, and you can see now that red status that was up here is now not available, and it's now missing. So it just shows that, oh, there's actually no live lesson anymore. Okay, great. Perfect. Now you can see now the live lesson has been changed just because you are recording. You can edit this. Maybe you want to rename this and maybe call it I don't know, live lesson 1. Yeah, live lesson 1. Maybe the description we can also have live lesson 1 as well, right? So learners who maybe missed this session can have access to this recorded session once they get back to the app. So this is good for learners who maybe missed the session that you are having and wish to have access to it. So we can publish now this live lesson, right? Click publish and we are good to go. And as well, you can edit this. So maybe let's just see. So if you want to add something inside this a live lesson, you can add maybe text down here, you know, and other slides you can add all those from here. Maybe you want to create new slides, just the same process we were doing earlier. You can fully customize this as well to your liking. Yeah, so we can leave it at that. Yeah, so yeah, that's how you go about creating courses. So let's go back. I had mentioned about the new course from library. So if you come here, you get to see some already created courses here, right? So if I click import course, it will import it. Here it is. So this is the course we've imported, and if you need to make some changes, you'll just click on it and go through the process we've gone through again. So it already comes with some lessons already. So if you want to change this, just go through the processes we've done earlier, and you should be in a position to make edits to this. Okay, perfect. So now we are done with the lessons. So let's go to modules. As I mentioned earlier, modules are like a bucket where you can group related courses, just for you to have a neat interface, or maybe make the journey for your learners quite seamless. And also this also helps you to maybe regulate who you want to have access to what. So you don't want maybe this set of learners to have access to everything that you've created. You want them to only have access to maybe courses related to fitness, training, sales, could be anything. So you can, financial advice, could be anything. So you can create a module for that and have those courses inside there. So let me show you how to go about that. Let's create a module. You'll be prompted to add a module name. Maybe we can call this module let's see, let's call it understanding your learners. Maybe for the description, again, you can have anything you want on here, so you can just create this dummy one. So maybe you have courses related to this topic, understanding your learners. So every course that you have on the platform related to this module, you can have that inside this specific module. So how do you do that? So you have this manage courses button here. So if I click on this, it gives me a list of all the courses I've ever created on the platform, right? So all I'll have to do is just click on these checkboxes and select which courses I want to add to this specific module. Now for this case, let's see, we can select a couple from here. So maybe we can have this copy. We can have we can have, let's say, sales. Then let's say design, no, we can have which one? Let's go to the other page and see whether we can select one from here. Yeah, we can add all these copies here, and maybe self-excellence program, you know, so we can have that. So once you're done doing that, you'll click on update courses, and those courses we've just selected will be added to this specific module. Okay, so I'll click on update courses here. Yeah, and you can see now those 5 courses we've selected have been added here. And now once we onboard learners, which I'm going to take you through in a few, you can give them access to only this module called understanding your learners, right? So you can give them access to only this. So once they log into your organization, they can only see these 5 courses and so on. So that just helps you to have control over who has access to what. So again, always publish. So we're going to publish this module, and that will be live now. Okay, so yeah, that's basically how you update modules. So easy, a few clicks and you're done. So you can see the modules has been added here, and you can see how the UI is neat, so it's well organized for you. And you get to see also the number of courses. So we can see understanding your learners module has 5 courses, sales fundamentals has 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, right, then we have quizzes. So the quizzes we were creating earlier. So let me just show you how you go about creating quizzes. So first things first, once you're here, you'll click on create quiz. You'll be asked to filter the specific course you want to create a quiz to, right? So let's add a quiz to the most recent course we just created. And now once we've selected the course, we'll now be required to select the lesson. Remember I said different lessons have different quizzes. So if you have 5 lessons, you can have 5 different quizzes for each lesson, right? So we'll select, let's do this original one you just created. Let's just call this learners learners quiz. Then pass mark, this way you set the pass mark, so we can have 80. Then so what follows from here is you download a pre-made template that comes with the platform. So we already have a platform set for you. All you have to do is download it and fill it, and it has clear instructions on how you're supposed to go about that. So I'll just click on download template here. So here we do have the template is here. So let's find it. Yeah, here it is. Let me just maximize this. Okay, so now this has 3 sections to it. It has the introduction section, example, and fill me out. So I believe you can see that just at the bottom of my screen. So the instructions is just a guidance of how you're supposed to go about filling all this information in here, right? So you're able to know how all this information is filled. We already have an example for you. So you get to see we have the questions. So we have fields that are marked as required, right? So these are fields that are mandatory. You have to add these ones. And we have optional ones. So like for instance, you have to have the question, that's required. You have to have at least 2 multiple choice answers. So those are marked as required, right? You can have as many as these are 5, 6. You can have as many as 6, but at least have 2, right? So you can see these other ones are optional. Another required is the correct answer. So if the correct answer was A, B, C, or D, just add that here. And a brief reinforce text to kind of reinforce why, if the answer was B, why was B correct? If the answer was A, why was A correct? So this is also required. You have to fill this. So we ideally have 5 fields that are required. So for this to be successfully uploaded, you have to have filled these specific fields. So you'll just fill this. Now once you've done, you'll come to the fill me out section. So this is the section where you go about now filling these particular sections or questions. So you can have your quizzes, as many questions as you want. The multiple choice answers, you are going to populate those here. The correct answer and the follow-up text will be added right on this section. So once you're done with that, you'll save that, and you can now proceed to upload. So I'll upload one I had already created here. um, okay, let's see. um, let's find one here. Gonna just give me a moment. Let's just find a random one I'd created. Let me just open this up so that you see how the fill me out section looks like. So you can see I had 5 questions on this one. Then I had 3 multiple choice options, then the correct answer, and a brief follow-up text to kind of reinforce why those particular answers were right. Okay, so yeah. So what you can do now, I'm gonna upload that. Let me just find that again. Should be somewhere here. Yeah, here we go. So I'm gonna upload that. Here it is. Then I'm gonna click create quiz. Yeah, so you can see this is basically the UI that your learners will have. This is how things will look on their end, right? So they can just navigate next, so you can have a clear view on how things look like. On this section, you can view quiz responses. So you're able to track that. Yeah, of course, this one doesn't have any responses yet because nobody has done that. But you're able to see all that metrics, how many attempts someone had, their name, how many skipped questions, how many attempts on. You're able to track all that from here, right? So let's see. So for instance, let's see whether some people actually tried out this master quiz. So if you come to view quiz responses, yeah, you get to see. So this is how things will look like. So the name, the past status. So this one past. This is actually the one we've done recently. Yeah. So 100% wrong questions, skipped questions, attempts on, and you get to see all that here. Okay, so that's that. Then if you wish to change the quizzes, you can do that again. All you'll have to do is just filter the course, the lesson, and now download the template, and now upload a new template with the updated questions, right? So you just go through the same process we've just gone through again. Perfect. So we had not published this, so we're gonna publish this quiz, the one we just created. Yeah, so it's gonna be added on at the very end of that lesson. Cool. So that's now how you upload the quizzes. So we're gonna head next to metrics, and of course from the quizzes you can filter the quizzes you want to check with the courses from here. So if you want to check, okay, that one didn't have a quiz, but yeah, that's how you go about that. We have metrics. So metrics, this is the section where you get to see all the analytics, all the data about who interacted with these courses, when did they interact with these courses, right? So you're able to track all that. You're able to see all that data from this section. You can filter that with a different number of days, a year, 2 years, 3 years, just how you want it. So what you have to do, select a course. Let's find a course here that we want to. Let's do path, this one. Then the lesson, we can say maybe foundations of that. So for the last 7 days, so you can see we are on the last 7 days tab. We had some action. One learner had engaged with this, So you can see this axis just shows the number of learners, then this the specific dates. So between the 5th and 6th of September, we had one learner engaging with this. But let's see, how about the last 60 days though? On the last 60 days, you see between this July, one learner was here between August 8th, two learners came here, then we have September and so on and so forth. Okay, then of course you can let's say you can also filter by the number of years. So let's say you want to do from the past 2 years who've been interacting with my content or with my material. So you're able to filter that, and you're able to export that into an Excel document. So I'll just show you how that looks like. So let's say okay, let's say you've just filtered the last 3 years here from 2022 to 2025. You filtered, you want to see, oh, I want this data for the past 3 years. So you get to see that graph here, and then you can export that. So if I click on export, so you see we have this Excel that's been saved here. So it shows the dates. So it shows the first of all, obviously we have the course name, the course and the lesson name. Then we have the day and the views. So you're able to download this, and maybe if you need to share this with a third party to maybe just show how people have been interacting with your material, you can just download this and share this over to them, right? Yeah, so you get to save that data and have it in this document. That's the same case. So we also able to see the learners. So we have the name of the learner, the lesson progress, and the completion time, right? So for this one, we only see one learner did 100%, like completed this. Only one learner completed this course, right? So and we are seeing here they did that in less than a minute. So this just tells you all you need to know about the learner. You're able now to track, oh, did this learner actually take time to go through my courses, or they just were just navigating to the next slide, and just to get it over and done with, right? So you're able to see that. So if it's content that's gonna take a learner quite some time, like you yourself as a creator, you know this content takes someone like an hour to finish it, then you come here and see it took them less than a minute, then that just answers your questions about how whether they actually did something constructive, or they were just doing it to just complete and everything. Okay. Yeah, so you're able to track. If it's maybe 50%, you'll just see an orange bar here and the 50% label and so on. Of course, if you had grouped people, you can filter by the groups, but you are seeing data for individuals, not groups, right? So if it's the sales group, it will bring out all the people in that group. So you can see we have 4 people in the sales group. So you're able to track for individuals, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to show all. And yeah, and we can also export this. So if I click on export here, that will be downloaded, and we are able to see that again. So we have the course name, the lesson, and so we have the user ID here, we have the first name. Maybe you can just adjust this to make it look organized. Yeah, you can just do the small adjustments. Yeah, so you get to see the first name, last name, progress, start on date, finish date, duration in seconds they took. So you can see for this user called Alan, they took 5 seconds to finish the whole of the course. So yeah, you're able to track that from here. So this is the learner view, right? So you can check the progress summary view. So this will just give you the bar and a graph bar, right? So this is how it will look like. So if you look at this, so it just shows you completed 1 person. So not started, 6 learners didn't start, and in progress, no learner at all is in progress. And you can export this as well. Again, it will be quite similar. So let's open that up. Yeah, so here you see in progress, completed, and not started. So you're able to also track that from here. All right, cool. Great. So that's basically how you're able to filter metrics, export that, and have that data to yourself. Yeah, so that's metrics. So what you're gonna do next is go to groups. So groups helps you group people into, let's say you have a very large team. You have people in HR, maybe you're in corporate space, you have people in HR, you have people in finance, and you have all these courses, right? So you have courses for the people in finance, and you have the courses for people in HR, right? So you can create a group. So for this one, maybe we can say HR group, right? Then you can say this group is for HR members, right? Sorry, this is for HR members. Okay, that's okay. Then click on create group. So you can see now the group has been created, right? Then we can now manage learners. So if we click here, all learners that we've onboarded on the platform will appear here. I'll show you how to onboard learners in the next few minutes. So all the learners you've onboarded will appear here, and you get to select which learners you want to add to this HR group. Let's say this guy called Samuel and this lady called Mercy and this other guy are in HR. So I'll just select those ones and click on update learners here, right? Yeah, so you can see that's been updated here. So these learners have been onboarded on this group. Then we can manage permissions. Which courses do we want people in the HR group to have access to, right? So if I click on manage permissions, I get to see we have two tabs. We have the module tab, then we have the course tab. So modules shows all modules you ever created, right? Then the course obviously will show all the courses in general that you've ever created. So let's say, for instance, we want to give them access to okay, let's maybe say sales, then edit permissions. So what happens is when this guy called Samuel or any of these three logs in, they'll only have access to those courses under the sales module only. Everything else will be hidden from them. They won't see anything that's not related to the sales module. So it helps you like restrict who you want to have access to this and so on and so forth. If you have now the finance guys, you can create a group for the finance guys and add the people, add the guys for the in the finance, and now manage the courses you want them to have access to. So it's quite simple as that. Okay. Yeah, so that's how you go about that. Of course, you can manage, you can do the modules, or if you want to give them permissions to specific courses, you just have to click on these check boxes and click on edit permissions, and that will be set. Okay, great. So now that's how basically you go about creating groups. And if you come back here, you can see the UI is neat, so you can be able to just see easily here. And HR group, this group is for HR members and the number of learners. So quite similarly to that structure of having the course cards, how that looks like. Okay, right. Then we have discussions. So discussions, remember we had started conversations as I was taking you through the learner journey of things. So you can see we have this one highlighted in green. This is just the one we just recently added, right? So maybe this one gave a comment that this was too long. Maybe you can say, sorry about that. Then hit post. Then you see the label now marks me as a moderator because I'm a creator, right? So they're able to know I'm not another learner. I'm actually the creator, so they're able to distinguish all that. And on the side here, you're able to see the specific lesson slide that the comment was coming from, right? So if I navigate to, yeah, so you're able to see all that. Great. Um, so the conversations are also here, so you can also navigate through the conversations here. If you have notifications, there are very many options. You as a creator, you have two options actually. You can use this bell notification to track conversations. So as I mentioned earlier, they come in as from the most recent to the oldest conversation. So you can track the conversations from here, or you can just go directly to the discussions. You should also be able to see everything that's going on from the discussions tab here. Yeah, so that's how you go about that. So that's in regards to discussions. Okay, so let me take you through learners real quick, and let me just start by removing all these learners so that you get to see how they just populate one by one. So to remove learners is easy. So if I want to remove everybody all at once, I'll just click on this top checkbox. I'll get this red remove button and remove. If I want to select individuals and remove them individually, again, just click on these checkboxes and remove. But now we want to do away with all of them. So we just click on this and say yes. So at the moment, we absolutely have no learners on the platform. So how do we add learners? So we have two ways. The first one is invite learners here. Then the second one is bulk invite learners. So if you have so many learners that are go, we have a CSV file you download. Then you're able to add their data inside there and upload that. So let's say you have 50 people. It will be tiring to use this first option because you'll have to add their email, comma, space. Let me just show you how that looks like. So we have some instruction here. Enter email addresses separated by a comma. And you're given an example. So if you have like 100 people, this is not the best way to do it. You'd rather use the bulk invite, right? So for this one, maybe you want to add two guys, right? So we can say, let me add two people. And let's add those two. So you can see it tells me on the package I'm on, account member limit has reached. Contact your administrator to upgrade your subscription. So so for this one, you can't add, let's say, those two. Or yeah, so but that's how you go about adding them. So if you add them, they'll just appear all right on this section. So those two. So what happens is they'll get an email and they'll click on that link that will be on their email, and they should be able to now fully onboard themselves on the platform. So they'll click on that link and they should have access to the learner app, and they should add themselves in there. Then we have bulk invite, right? So for the bulk invite learners, if I click here, I'll just download this CSV file. So this is how the CSV file looks like, right? Let me just expand this. So what you have to do is add the email, first name, last name, country code, phone number, or you can choose to add the phone number without country code, right? So if you have so many learners, you can just update that here. Save that. I think I did have let me just open one of them. I had updated one. Let's see. Let's find that. Yeah, so this is basically the format that should look. So we have the email is there. Maybe let me just play around with this to make it neater. So we have email, first name, last name, country code. So this 254 for Kenya, then their phone numbers here. So once you save this and upload that, they'll get a notification on their emails that so and so organization has onboarded you on Tizisha. Click on this link, and to access they can have two options: to either download the app, Android app, or use the Learner web app, right? So yeah, So if I click on this, yeah, so you can see now those 4 learners have been added to the platform. So that's basically how. So if it were 50, that would be the same experience. They would just be added in that format. Okay, and we have a search filter here. So if you want to find someone, if you have so many guys on here and you want to search someone based on their name or their email, this is the section to do that. So you can just filter the people from here. Okay, so yeah, so we've added, there was a slight issue there, so we can add another guy here. So what you have to do here, you do, let me just show you. Let me remove this guy and add him again. So if it's invite learner and I want to add 2 guys, it's, you must just follow the instructions highlighted here. So it's comma, then space, then the other guy. So you can see those 2 people have been updated on here. So that's simply how you go about it. And if you wish to remove someone, simple, as I explained earlier, just click on those checkboxes and remove someone. Okay, then we have editors. So who are editors? Editors are people who will help you create courses, right? So editors are restricted for some features. So editors will have access to courses, modules, quizzes, metrics, groups, discussions, learners, but editors you on board can't add other editors. So you as the account owner, you're the only one who can onboard editors. Or they will also not have access to doing things like doing the SSO configuration, doing webhooks, billing. They won't have control over your billing, and maybe updating things like your organization logo and such kind of stuff. So that's basically all on you as the creator of this, right? Okay, so onboarding editors is similar to what you've done for learners. If you look at this, just the same instructions are added here. The bulk invite works the same, so you just add, you just fill in this this sheet that I was just showing you earlier, and once you're done, everything should be set. Great, so that's in regards to editors. Then we now have settings. So this is just show your profile, your first name, last name, email, and so on. Nothing major there. Then we have organization profile. So this is the organization name. Of course, you'll have the organization name added here. Then your organization logo. So this is the organization logo. If you look at the top right of my screen, this is the organization I've added for the logo. So it's gonna appear at the very top here next to the bell notification. Then the organization description, I just added the name there, but you can have a full description about what your organization does and so on and so forth. Okay. Then you have the organization learner app profile link. So you can share this to the necessary parties you wish to share that with. Yeah, so that this is where you can make those updates. Upload your logo from here. Add your organization name and description. And we have, okay, we've checked that. Then we have SSO. So this is single sign-on. So let's say, for instance, in your organization, you have like similar emails. By this I mean, let's say let's say kate@xiz.com, or ruth@xiz.com, josfat@xiz.com. So for such kind of people in maybe your setup, you can configure that to, you can configure them to log in via SSO. So by that, they won't have to add their passwords. So if you share the link, they'll just add their email and they'll be directly thrown inside the Learner app, right? So all you'll have to do is add their authorization URL, on this space. And once you've done that, if you want to share it with an editor, people you want to help you you want to collaborate with in creating course content, you can now share that. You can just click on this and copy, share it with an editor, and they can log in via this link, right? So this is the specific link for a creator to join via SSO. This is the link for the Learner Web to join via SSO. Then Learner Android, this is the link for that. So for the SSO guys, you can just copy these links. These are the specific links you should share with them. So yeah, if they do the other way, they may not be able to use SSO, but with this link, they'll definitely be able to log in via SSO. Okay, so all you have to do is just add. So we have the client secret and client ID and so on. So you should, they are the only fields that you're gonna add to do that, or to do that SSO configuration. Okay, now we do have webhooks. So remember, before I just go to webhooks, once you've done that, always remember to save your stuff. Yeah, so webhooks. So this just so webhooks will help. It will generate events and help communicate. Maybe you're using some other tools at the moment that you'd want to communicate with Tizisha, right? So you want that communication between Tizisha and maybe some other tool you're using. We are able to support generated events. So the events you're able to support at the moment are course completion. So you're able to track each time a learner completes a course, you're able to get that data on your end. Maybe I can just show you. So I'll just use a test environment. This is called Mockbin. So like for instance, so what I'm gonna do here, this is the only technical bit of this creator journey. So I'll just copy this. I'll bring it here. Then I'm gonna create a bin, right? Then I'm gonna be given this link. So I'm gonna copy this link and I'll paste that here, right? So, and I click save. Now, you're not gonna use Mockbin, but the tools now you're using is what now you're gonna do this with. So once you've done that, it will be able to now give you, each time someone completes a course, since that's the event we are generating now. Once someone completes a course, you get all the data about that learner, right? So we're able to do, so we can create bin. So we've already created that bin here 40 seconds ago. So each time a learner completes a course, we'll be able to get that data from here. So okay, let me use older bins I've created before that have actually some data that people have actually completed the courses. Okay, not that one. Let's see this one. Okay, yeah, so we do have some actual people who've completed this. So if I click on this, so this is the event type. At the very bottom here, you get to see course completion. So this is what we are tracking at the moment. So you get to see the course ID, progress, course name, course description, learner email, learner first name, and the learner last name is highlighted here. So this is what these are the event types we are generating at the moment. So this can communicate with any tool you're using. Okay, so that's basically what the webhook does. Just helps you to communicate with tools you're using, so you don't have to struggle a lot with that. Then we do have billing. So this is where you make payments. So we have the subscription. So here you can see my account credits, the subscription. So I'm on enterprise for this one. So if you're on pro, you should see pro. If you're on starter, you should be able to see the subscription package you're on. The billing date. So this says September 19, 2025 will be my next billing date. So what happens is when it gets to September 19th, I'll be blocked from accessing all this data, right? So that's after 30 days. So billing happens after 30 days. So after 30 days, you're going to get blocked. Not really blocked, but you won't be able to access. If you had created courses, they won't be accessible. You'll get some error there telling you, oh, you need to make payments for the billing and such kind of stuff. Okay, then we have payment details. So we accept card payments at the moment. So this way you add your card details and everything. Then if you wish to save that card number for future payments, you just click on this checkbox, and that you won't have to keep, um, adding that card number over and over again. So that's why you're gonna do that. Then we do have payments here. So all transactions you've made, all invoices, so you get to see everything here, right? Yeah, so basically that's how you make payments. So in the event that 30 days have passed, right, and you need to make a payment, so you've logged in, you are being restricted from accessing all these features. You'll get this red, you see, like how we were seeing that red notification bar on the joining a live lesson on the Learner app. So you get to see something of the similar sort. So just click on it, and the process will be seamless from there. You just add your card details and everything. Then it will automatically run your card, and you should be good to go. Yeah, so that's in regards to billing. Okay. So yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Then, of course, if you belong to different organizations, you should be able to see all the organizations here. So if you wish to switch as a creator to a different organization, you should be able to see that from here if you belong. So for me, you see I only belong to one organization, so I can't switch to a different one, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically how you go about. That's the full journey for the learner and the creator on Tizisha. Hopefully, this session was so helpful to you, and I'm really looking forward to having you create your courses and making learning and training more seamless. Thank you very much.